So I think fear is probably a biologically innate drive that has something to do with protection and safety. People are aware of the fight or flight phenomena. I think it has something to do with a mechanism that has sort of been evolved in, I think, all animals and certainly mammals, that has to do with protection, keeping you safe from danger. So a normal phobic reaction is different really than a fear, and that a phobia is it is almost an obsessive focus on something that might cause you harm, that becomes basically more a tool of an anxiety focus than truly a fear. So if you think about it, there are all kinds of things that might cause you to feel unsafe or frightened as you're growing up. But if you had a particularly frightening experience with a clown, you might become obsessively focused on clowns and a fear of clowns, and you might think about it a lot. It isn't really to protect yourself from a particular danger. It isn't really the same kind of thing as a fear response. It's almost an obsessive focus on that, and a lot of the theory behind phobias is that we develop a phobia to almost encapsulate our anxiety and to put it into some place that we understand, rather than having it be vague and free-floating. If it makes any sense, if you have a phobia about something, then you think if you can just avoid it, you're safe. Where most phobias are really, truly not that dangerous. I mean, if you think about most things, most people that are afraid of heights aren't going to fall and kill themselves. Most people that are afraid of spiders aren't going to die from a spider bite. Most people that are afraid of clowns are not going to be harmed by a clown. It's almost an obsessive focus to almost to ruminate and center your anxiety on one thing, so you don't have to truly be afraid of actually the vaguer and more disturbing thing that there's many things in life we have no control over. Xenophobia isn't really a clinical phobia that people present with. So clinical phobias that people might develop, again, are more sort of focused, sort of almost an excuse, an ability to ruminate on something small to avoid a larger fear. Patients don't present clinically with xenophobia because xenophobia is something that probably all human beings have. And it isn't necessarily a phobia as much as I think a universal fear of something that's dangerous. And if we go back to thinking about our original definition of what fear is a feeling that motivates you to engage in behavior to protect yourself from dangerous situations. And what's more dangerous than something that you don't know? What's more dangerous? If you think about really what the fear of the dark is, it isn't really fear of the dark. It's the fear that in the dark you don't know what will happen. The fear of the unknown is probably one of the most primal things that all human beings are afraid of, and probably affects everyone. So, while probably everyone has some degree of fear of unknown situations, I think individuals that have had significant trouble, whether it's been trauma in their lives or it's a lack of control over situations or other kinds of problems that lead them to feel that they have little control in their lives and in the universe, may become especially anxious about the unknown. So the less you feel like you have agency in the world to make things happen for yourself, the more the world is a dangerous and frightening place, and therefore the unknown becomes more and more terrifying. I think those people who actually feel that they have the ability to some degree to control their destiny, to shape their future, to impact other people, very rarely have a xenophobia that ever causes them much difficulty. I think the people that take it to extremes are those that feel little sense of agency or ability to impact the world or protect themselves. The people that become most terrified of this are people who have little control themselves in life.
That's true. Exactly.
Right? I mean, who does the crazy camp? What was the Camp David? I mean, all the I don't know, if you think about all these sort of people that get into that, it's the people that have a fear of the lack of the control they usually have. Very rarely are they people who are competent movers and shakers in their own lives.
Nice.
Usually they're people that have sort of had their lives crumble and fall apart.
Makes sense. All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, hope that
That's
works.
good.